Welcome to the Vibeserver channel on the internet. Today we got BitLife future updates tier list. So you guys already know what's good. Let's get right into this. So first update idea is the Olympics update idea, where you can participate in the Olympics, not just regular sports within your country. You can, play in Tokyo. Like this year, the Olympics is in Tokyo. So that would be pretty cool if they added that update. It would be fitting since, the Olympics are actually going on right now. So I say that's an A tier. I don't think that's too important though. I don't think it's a necessity, but I do think it's pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with it. I can see them doing that in the future. Next up, we have the shop update. Okay, so this one is the first S tier, and basically what the shop does is you can buy things in it and you can do stuff with those things that you buy. For example, let's say you want to buy a gun, right? You can buy guns and that will help you with your crimes in a mafia and stuff like that. And there's other things you could buy, such as clothes and stuff like that. And you could see your character. That goes with another update later, but basically you can buy things. Maybe you could buy cell phones and computers. Like let's say you want an ultra good gaming computer. That would work well with your gaming channel on YouTube within the game. So that would just be overall a great update. So much more to do with that. Next up though, we have the coup update. So with this update, you could be able to see the president of your country or dictator. And if you don't like the way that they're running the country, you could decide to attempt a coup and overthrow the government. And I don't think that this is a necessity in the game. It would be pretty cool. I'll just say B tier for now. Next up, we have the rider updates. Again, like these are kind of hard to rank because they're not like super creative and like unique and all that, but I do see them doing it in the future. Kind of like how they did the Popstar update. It used to be just a regular job, but now you can actually upload albums and stuff like that. So I'll just say A tier. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think it's not S tier because it's not just above and beyond. Just it would be so good if they added it into the game, because right now rider job's already pretty good. It's, you get paid a bunch for it. You know what? I'll put that in B tier, top of the B tier, because we already have a rider job and it's pretty good. It would be better though if they updated that a little bit. But next up, we have the Congress update, aka just more government positions. Like in the United States, it's not just the president and governors and whatnot. There's actually people who vote on laws called the legislator, and you can vote on stuff. For example, the presidents can't declare war on anyone. It's actually Congress's job, so you can vote on stuff like declaring war on other countries. So that would be cool. I just don't think it's that needy. I'm gonna just put it like kind of next to the coup update. I'm not sure where to put it though. I'll just say right there. Actually, I think it doesn't matter. Let's just put it there. Next up, we have the business update. That is clearly S tier. That's the most popular update idea right now. I don't think it needs any explanation whatsoever. Next up, we have the terrorism update, or should I say the arson update, because the specific comment that I read for this just said they wanted to be able to burn down buildings, which I thought that was ridiculous because I'm anti-crime. As you all know, I don't support committing crimes. But there was another comment that said they wanted to be able to fly airplanes into buildings or something like that. So I just called it the terrorism update, and I'll just put this, honestly, I'm anti-crime, as you guys know. I'm gonna just say D tier, guys. We already have so much to do with crimes in this game. More crimes would be good, but I don't think they're that needed right now. Other stuff is more important right now. Next up, we have the astronaut updates. And again, this is something that I don't see any problem with. I'll just say A tier. Going into space would be pretty cool. And you could perhaps maybe go land on Mars sometime in the future. I don't know. That might go with the time periods update where, you're playing in the future. But we'll get to that update idea later. Next up, though, we have the stocks and mainly investments update. Stocks go with investments. But the main thing about this update is not that it's cool or awesome or just everyone loves it. It's just that it's extremely realistic, because nobody with a brain who is above the age of 25 doesn't have investments. You have to invest your money in real life. Nobody does that. No one with a brain, at least. No one who has any ounce of wisdom in their being. But I do understand why it's not that popular, because good financial decisions aren't in style right now. So that's why most people would probably put it in C or D or A. I don't even know. But I'm putting in the S tier because that's what I believe. Next up, though, we have the esports update. I don't think it's as necessary as the Olympics or astronaut update. So moving on, though, we have a social media update version 2. This kind of goes with the esports thing, but it's even better. It's more specific in that it would actually improve all social medias. Basically what I want to see happen is a slider be implemented into the game where you can set how many videos or Instagram pictures or tweets you put out per week or per month or something, so that you don't have to click upload 365 times in 1 year to do daily videos. Right now it's unrealistic and it's extremely hard to get famous on YouTube without some other famous job like pop star. So I'm actually going to put this above everything else in the A tier. I'll put it at the top of the A tier right there. I'm actually thinking about putting it in the S tier, but I think the other ones are fitting for S tier. They're more important than that right now. Moving on, we have the family update. So this would include you guys seeing like great-grandchildren and grandparents, aunts, uncles, stuff like that. I think that's S tier. Like this one is just so simple and so easy for them to do. I don't like there's no downside to them adding this into the game. For example, like if you are in royalty and you're not royalty, but you date into royalty and you're dating a prince, you can't see the king or the queen, you can't see their parents. Apparently they don't have any parents and they will never become king. So it's pretty pointless to date into royalty when you could just be born into royalty. So adding the family updates would just make the whole entire game so much better in terms of relationships. Next up, we have gmode V2, just gmode, revamp, whatever you want to call it. So with this update, you could be able to override deaths and stuff like that. Pretty much anything your heart desires within this game, because right now there's not too much. There's just switching lives, editing stats a little bit here and there. You can do a lot with gmode, don't get me wrong, but doing a lot more would be so much cooler and more worth the money, to be honest, because they increased the price a while back. Even though in the past year, in my opinion, they've only made gmode worse with the special talents. I haven't heard a soul say that the special talents was a good idea. I've never heard anyone say that. Next up though, we have the gang update. So this is kind of like Mafia, but more bent towards like drug deals and stuff like that. And I think it would go well with the shop update where you can buy guns and stuff. So I'll just say, I'll just say right here in the middle, right there. I don't think it's necessary enough to be in the A or S tier, but I don't see any problem with it. So solid B tier. Next up is the more crimes update. So I'm just gonna say C tier because there's already, I think, enough crimes. And like I said, I'm anti-crime, so I don't particularly want to commit crimes in this game unless you guys tell me to, or if a challenge wants me to do crimes. But these other crimes that people requested are like hacking and stuff like that. That kind of goes with the terrorist update. I don't know. Terrorist is more towards like not getting anything out of killing people or burning down a building. It's just being crazy. Whereas this one, you could like hack into Facebook and steal their ad revenue somehow. So you're actually getting something out of it. So I think it would be more useful. But C tier, not that important right now. Moving on though, we have the spy update. And this is just another job where you can spy on things. Like maybe you're working in the government and you're spying on another country who is attempting to start a war or something like that. It's just another job idea, and I'll just say B tier. Probably low B tier because, you know, it's just another job idea. It's not that huge or revolutionary. Next up, we have the F1 racing cars update, motorsport. And this one, I'll just say solid A tier. I mean, it's popular enough that people request it sometimes in the comments. I see no problem with it. Next up is the Popstar update version 2. And the main reason people want this is so that you can become an independent artist and you can upload albums whenever you want. Maybe like SoundCloud and other, you know, music services, Spotify, like that. A lot of people hated that the record label has to decide when you can and cannot release albums, so that's pretty annoying. I say this is a solid, you know, B+ tier right there. Next up is the Godfather update. This is just improving what is already there in the Mafia. I don't think it was a bad update, but the main thing is you can't do much as the Godfather, because basically when you work all the way up to the Godfather, you can't do anything different. Like you can't tell your members what to do and all that. It's just being able to actually do stuff as the Godfather would make the game so much better with Mafia. I'll just say a solid B tier. Next up is the Child Star updates, where you can become famous before 18 years old. Like, let's say you start making music at 13 and your music is really good and boom, you're rich and famous already. Or you can be born into a famous family. Again, this is kind of like royalty, where you're born into a famous family. It's like rare. It can happen though. So I'd say this is a solid A tier. I don't know why it's not in the game. Like, why can't you make music at 13 years old? Because you can do that in Insta Life I don't know why you can't do it in BitLife though. Moving on though, we have a hacker update. This is kind of like with the crimes. It's just like more crimes, stuff like that. That's a solid C tier. Next up though, we have the real estate update. And you guys know me, like, come on, 90% of all millionaires in the world got their money from real estate, not becoming famous or getting lucky with the lottery or, you know, playing sports. It's from buying houses, renting them out. That's pretty much it. This is something that I think every life simulator should have, but for some reason most don't. I would actually put this above family updates and gmode update version 2. You know what? I'm putting the shop update back down, probably right there. Now I'll say investments and real estate are tied for number 1 because those two are just like life in general. Like even in real life, it's completely unrealistic that you can't do those two things in the game because those are the most common ways to get rich in real life. So BitLife should at least try to reflect that by making it a possibility to do that within the game. Next up though, we have multiplayer update, obviously S tier. I don't know how they would do this, like maybe local multiplayer, like when you press the age button, both of you guys can age up at the same time, maybe your brothers in that life or just friends. I don't know how that would work, but this idea is just so cool. I can't not put it in the A tier, and I'd probably put it above everything else, like the shop. So there's that. Next up, we have the religion update, and this I'm putting in the not happening tier because I don't see it happening, nor do I want it to happen. I talked about this in a previous video regarding the religion update concept, so you guys can watch that if you want to. But next up is the superhero updates, and I think this is not happening either, so I'm just putting it right there. Mainly because I just think it's a bit too crazy for them to put into the game. I understand that there's unicorns and ghosts and stuff like that, but becoming a character with like super strength or something, like, there would be so much for them to add. It's just kind of pointless and it's already unrealistic anyways. Next up, we have the time periods update where you can pick what time period you live in, such as the 1500s where people are discovering America, or in the 2500s where people are living on Mars already. The thing is, I would put this in S tier because it's a great idea, but I'm gonna have to put this in the not happening tier because they're gonna have to pretty much make a new game for each time period. If you just stop for a second and think how many things they would have to add and change about the game for each time period, you will quickly realize that it's pretty much just another game, and they're not making another game just for an update. That's just too much for them. It's way too ambitious, even though I would love that update. It'd be pretty cool. If it comes, it'll come after this channel reaches 1 million subscribers or something crazy like that. Next up though, we have the war updates where you can start a war, I guess. This kind of goes with the Congress updates, at least in the USA, where, you know, the president can't declare war, but, you know, he can talk to other countries, diplomacy, that kind of updates. So I just say that's a solid B tier. Just improving politics in this game would be pretty nice. Next up though, we have the UFC, boxing, Muay Thai, other fighting styles updates. This is a solid A tier. I would actually put this above motorsport because I think it's more popular, right? And I'm actually more interested in it too. So it's a solid A tier though. They're both in the A tier. I think they'll happen within the next few years or so. I don't know. BitLife takes a while for these updates. We haven't had an update in almost a year now, at least on iOS. But moving on, we have the Hitman update, just another job. Solid B tier. Not too much to do with it, just having that Hitman job there would be pretty cool. Next up though, we have the body update, and this is automatic S tier. I would actually put this probably up here. And this update is basically where you can see your character's actual body. And let's say you go to the shop, like I was mentioning earlier, you can buy some clothes and put some drip on your character. Or let's say you haven't worked out in multiple years, your character could be super skinny. Or if you ate too much, like that high calorie diet, your character would get fat. Or if you work out just enough, the right amount, and you're an athlete or something, your character would be, you know, healthy. Or they can maybe add a bodybuilder job, and then working out even more and more per year would make your body absolutely ripped. So that would just add another level of immersion into the game. Super cool. I would love that. Easy S tier for me. Next up, we have the movie star update, kind of like the writer update we talked about earlier, where you can, you know, pick which movies you're in and stuff like that. Just like, you know, kind of like the pop star update where you can actually do stuff with your job. That's a solid B tier. And last but not least, we have the World Cup update. This is another thing that I don't know why they wouldn't add into the game. So I'm gonna just say solid A tier, probably up here somewhere. I don't know. I'll just put it right there. It is by far the most popular sport in the world, so I could see them doing this in the future. But anyways, the link to this list is in the Discord server, so you can join up and send it to us over there and we can roast you for how bad your opinions are. But that's gonna be it for today. Remember, I could be anyone. I love you guys so much. Peace out.